Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this Rangers review. Breaking news special. I'm sure you've all heard the news that Connor Goldson has signed a new 4-year deal with the club. We'll get to that very shortly. I'm joined by Jonny McFarlane to react to the news. Before we do that, folks, just a bit of housekeeping. As you can see, the logo on your screen is the One Football app. It's our sponsor of the Rangers review. It's your one-stop shop for all your footballing needs. You can keep up to date with all the latest goings-on at Ibrox, and it's ideal for news like today. Lots of Rangers review content on there. It's totally free as well. You can use it both on iPhone and Android devices. You can also keep up to date with all the goings-on, not only in Scottish football, but down south in the Premier League and what have you, and also further afield on the continent as well. It's your one-stop shop for all your footballing needs. It's the One Football app, and we'd very much recommend you go and check it out. The good news is it's totally free as well. So lots of people tuning in already. Jonny, they're obviously excited by the news today. I think it's caught everyone by surprise. Connor Goldson has signed a new four-year deal with Rangers. I'm just going to read through some of the comments that Giovanni van Bronckhorst and Ross Wilson have said with regards to this decision today, this announcement today. Giovanni van Bronckhorst said, "I'm delighted Connor has agreed to remain a Rangers player, as he has been fantastic for me both on and off the pitch since I arrived. His leadership is outstanding, and he has a huge influence on so many players around him, while his consistency of performance means he is someone I can always rely on. I am really looking forward to seeing Connor back for pre-season in a couple of weeks and to working with him again next year." Sporting director Ross Wilson has also commented. He says, "Connor is an important player in our group, and we are delighted that following all of our discussions, he has decided to commit his long-term future to Rangers. We have a strong relationship with Connor, and we were always aware that this decision was a really important one for Connor and his young family, and we were prepared to respect the time for him to make the right decision for all concerned. I know how strong his feeling is for Rangers, and we look forward to continuing the journey with him, with Connor committing his future and John Souttar also officially joining Rangers today. We have assembled a strong defensive unit." Right, Jonny, what's your reaction to the news?
Well, we got a wee bit of a wind of this in the last little while, just prior to the news going out that it might be happening. I have to say I was completely taken aback. I think people who've been watching this will tell you that I thought that Connor Goldson was away. I think we all did. It seems absolutely obvious that if you haven't signed the contract by this point, it's not going to happen. I've spoken to someone at the club, obviously, and there'll be an article going out later on today. I can give a bit more detail as to the sort of what happened and why what happened. It's an outstanding coup. That's the first thing. Connor Goldson walking out the door is a completely different player from the one that walked in. He is the best central defender in the league, and Celtic fans will bristle at that, but it's absolutely true. I would stand that no matter what any stats guy throws at me on the eye test. Connor Goldson is the best defender in the league. He has been outstanding throughout the European runs. He's a great leader in the dressing room and a key component in the way the dressing room actually operates, Derek. So to lose him would have been huge for a number of reasons. Not least the fact that he never misses a game. Not least the fact that he's an important member of the squad in terms of what he brings as an experienced member of that squad, as an experienced professional. The standards that he set, the physical qualities that he has, the way he looks after his body, all these elements are a huge part of what Connor Goldson brings to the table. And to get him signed up on a 4-year deal, that really takes him right to the end of his career, effectively. I think it's an outstanding bit of business. Make no mistake, there was serious interest in Connor Goldson. Serious interest from the Premier League, serious interest from abroad. And I think, if we're being honest, probably serious interest that would pay more money than Rangers. And I think it's really, really important to stress, Derek, that Rangers have not broken their wage structure with this. Now, it's a big deal. It's going to cost the club a lot of money. And it's safe to say Connor Goldson is going to be now one of the highest paid players in Scottish football. But they have not broken the wage structure. They haven't had to go and rejig things for this. This deal has gone through within the current system. So again, it's another massive boon for the club that they've managed to do that, because you know what happens when someone signs a mega contract, then everyone else wants parity. You see that what's going on down south with Liverpool at the moment. Mohamed Salah is wanting X, Liverpool are offering Y. Both parties want to retain each other. You know, Salah wants to remain in Merseyside and Liverpool want to keep him there. But finances are everything in modern day football, or a huge part of modern day football. And it's key that everyone gets a deal they're happy with. And I think the key thing here is, I think everybody walks away happy, Derek, from what I can gather. And I know the fans, and you can see the comments coming in, are absolutely delighted. And the one that I want to just point to, Derek, if you don't mind, I know you're in charge of that, is Roy Nelson there saying it's like a new signing worth around 10 million. I completely agree with that. That is the kind of quality that we're talking about here. As a player, you could not replace. So to get him signed up when everyone thought he was away, just outstanding business.
Yeah. What does it say as well, Johnny? You mentioned there was some serious interest. We're all well aware that Nottingham Forest were sniffing about, Bournemouth as well, reportedly interested. There was offers, apparently, well, clubs interested abroad. But for Rangers to keep hold of Connor Goldson with the sort of enticement of the Premier League dangled in front of him, what does that tell you about the sort of lure and the attraction of playing for Rangers?
Well, I think it's obvious that he's actually very happy in Glasgow.
Yeah.
And I think that, as with any player, when you're coming towards the end of your deal, so towards the end of last season, he'd have been thinking about, right, what's my long-term future? I've got one big contract left in me. And you'll have the push and pull factors that we all face in our careers. You might be very happy somewhere, but someone comes along and blows the deal that you're offered out the water. Remember, footballers, Derek, only play until they're 35, 36.
Yeah.
And in terms of their earning potential, the key earning potential is between 22 and 32. And outside of that, you're on a downward slope. So that money has got to last you for the rest of your life. It's not like, you're going to get paid 50, 60, 70, 80 grand a week for the rest of your life. You know, the money that you make as a footballer has to be invested properly. It has to be looked after. You know, you're not living the lifestyle of someone if you're on 40 grand a week, because that money has to last you.
Yeah. Past
your time in the actual team. So that's why it's so important at the age he's at that he factors in all these different elements. He's got young kids. He's a family man. His family are very settled in Glasgow. But then he's got to think about a potential deal that could reshape his financial planning for the future. And remember, footballers are human too. But I think that what we've seen here is very, very probably a player, and I don't know the inside of his head, so I am speculating here, but I think it's safe to say a player who wanted to remain in Glasgow, just trying to balance all these spinning plates that he had at once, and ultimately coming to the decision that this is the place for him for the next 4 years. And Derek, it's huge. I was thinking about writing a piece in the next couple of days about Rangers defence and how much tumult and change it was going to go through next season. But now you've got that entire right side bricked in, absolutely bricked in. You know, Goldson and Tavernier are there and are going to be there almost every game.
Yeah.
You've got John Souttar come in now, who will provide a very, very good alternative option to Connor Goldson. So if they want to start resting Connor Goldson, they've got John Souttar there, who can also play on the left side. And if Giovanni van Bronckhorst wants to experiment and go to a 3 more often, then Goldson can play that. Souttar's perfect for the right-sided position in a 3. And you've got Bassey, who's absolutely perfect for the left side of a 3. So there's so much versatility, so many options there. And Derek, we've not even touched on Leon King, Leon Balogun. We've not touched on the opportunities for Philip Helander to come back and stake a claim for James Sands. I mean, that Rangers defence now is just packed with talent.
Yeah.
That said, Leon Balogun's out of contract, so we'll wait and see what happens with that. But perhaps this deal would make that difficult to go through.
Well, it's either him or Hollander for me in terms of Rangers keeping one on. Leon Balogun has made no secret that he would love to stay. I would be tempted to offer him a new deal, but there was a comment that came in, Johnny, saying that, I mean, it's all well and good keeping these players on, but new signings is what the club needs. Alex Kelly, I think it was pretty harsh, I think, a bit there by Alex, but in terms of taking the team forward, they do need new signings, but I think keeping Goldson is absolutely huge. I think it's going to cost you a hell of a lot of money to replace that, not only on the pitch, but off it. So for me, it's a fantastic bit of business.
Alex, I have to say, I really think that's a really myopic take on overall. I get what you're saying. Yes, only 2 trophies in 12. But remember what Steven Gerrard walked into from the Pedro Caixinha, Graham Murty era. I mean, look at that squad. Look what was there. Jamie Murphy was one of the best players in that squad. No disrespect to Jamie Murphy, but not on the level that Rangers have now. Nowhere near it. You know, Josh Windass, you know, players like that, you know, Jason Cummings, they weren't at the level that Rangers require. That much is clear. And Gerrard, what he did when he came in was he completely rebuilt. And he's rebuilt a team that's more than capable of winning a championship. We saw that last year. They pushed very, very hard for the championship this year. They should have won the championship. They didn't. There was a changeover in manager, remember. There was it took a little bit of time to get used to the changes I think he made once they lost a couple of games, once they dropped a few points. And it took a bit of a dip when that happened. It was like, confidence dropped. Yeah. Because they'd been asked to facilitate a big change. People said Giovanni Van Bronckhorst was going to come in and it was going to be very similar to Steven Gerrard. It wasn't. Tactically, it really was quite different. Josh has been brilliant on the website, detailing the differences between the two sides. We've had tons of it on the Rangers Review in terms of the Gerrard philosophy and the Giovanni Van Bronckhorst philosophy. Now, you can say this is excuses or whatnot. The fact is, Scotland has 2 very, very, very good sides. I think Rangers are the better side than Celtic. I've got to be honest. I think if you ask me who's got the better squad, I would say Rangers. But Celtic did very well. They are set up for domestic success. They pile bodies forward. The philosophy of Ange Postecoglou is absolutely a perfect fit for the Premiership. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst is going to have to adapt that philosophy that was put in place by Steven Gerrard that was a better fit for Europe. We've been saying that for a long time. And to me, that's where there's been a fall down in the league. And you've seen the success in Europe. You've seen getting to the Europa League final. No Scottish clubs ever come that close to winning a European trophy and failed. A penalty. One penalty. So to say that you have to throw the baby out with the bathwater and go down that narrative route, I don't buy it. It's not correct. And it's looking at the wrong details for me. Now, it's perfectly valid to have that opinion. I absolutely disagree with it. And I think this is an outstanding bit of business to do this within the wage structure, to keep a player of that value at the club who's committed the way he is, who plays every game, who's the outstanding centre-half in Scotland. You can't be negative about it.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's a comment came in, Johnny, where does this leave Katic as well? It's going to be interesting. I think, he's a left-sided defender. You've got Hollander, you've got Bassey there. You're sort of top-heavy now over on that left side. I think
he's not left-footed, which is a big problem for him because, again, on the website, tactical guys have detailed this in so much detail. The fact that if you've got a left-sided player there, they move the ball much quicker and much more efficiently. So it's always handy. It's not just a Football Manager thing. You know, I always remember with the Championship Manager and Football Manager, I'd always want Grebo West on the left side of my defence to give me a bit of balance in there. And listen, it's not just a Football Manager thing. It's an actual football thing. If you've got the player who can take the ball on his left foot, they move it a lot quicker. If you have to put it onto your right, your body shape's different. It's not as easy. So I think Gio will, like most managers, when you've got Calvin Bassey, you've got Philip Helander who are left-footed, you want to retain that. Niko Katic played on the left side, but he's not naturally left-sided.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be in trouble now, I have to be honest.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, I think, to get a place, especially with the news. I mean, just earlier on, Johnny, John Souttar gave an interview to Rangers TV. I'd urge you all to go and check it out, folks.
Yeah.
I mean, he's another quality player arriving, of course. I'm sure he's going to play some part for Scotland this evening against Ukraine. But you look at that defence, and players may go, but I mean, if you have that, I have a defence of Tavernier, Goldson, Souttar, and perhaps Bassi, Barisic, or someone else over on that left-hand side. That's sorted. You don't necessarily have to worry about that. It's other areas of the pitch, namely centre midfield and the forward areas that I think will be Ross Wilson's priority now.
That's it, Derek. You can stop worrying about the defence. Signing Connor Goldson on a 4-year deal and bringing in John Souttar, you've got so many options. You've got so much versatility. There's so much tactically you can do with that. Now Giovanni Van Bronckhorst and Ross Wilson have to address the key issue in that Rangers team, and that is a lack of goals. So I think what you're going to see now is them going out into the transfer market and trying to ensure that the players that move out are replaced with players who are going to rack up the numbers. It sounds really kind of simple and obvious, and it's not easy. But you need players like who are going to go out and bring you the numbers the way Fashion Sakala has. Now, Fashion Sakala is someone that I find incredibly frustrating. But the one thing you cannot take away from the guy, and the one thing that makes his many, many fans correct in a lot of ways, is that he delivers you goals and assists in Scottish football. So I think it's absolutely essential that the kind of players that Rangers are getting in now are going to be able to replace the assists that Ryan Kent provides, but also, and this is crucial, more goals from the wide areas. And we had a piece on the website by Craig Vickers talking about how Rangers can do that. I think you started to see towards the end of Giovanni Van Bronckhorst's reign quite a lot of goals, tap-ins at the back post. Amad Diallo was very good at that. Again, looking across the city, we don't like to do that too much, but it's important that you focus on how you get success in Scottish football. Lyle Abada has done extremely well in terms of numbers for Celtic. Could he lace Ryan Kent's boots as a football player? No, but he's delivering better numbers. Look at the goals he scored. Look at the assists he's made. Key moments of quality. He's a killer. And that's what Rangers need in those positions, is killers in that area. MMA King is absolutely right. Yanis Hadji is one of those.
Yeah.
But they need more. They need more, and they need players they can rely on week in, week out. If Kemar Roof's on the fitness table, getting looked at for injuries, you need other players there that can come in and provide.
Yeah. So many comments coming in, folks. But the breaking news, if you're just joining us, Connor Goldson has signed a new 4-year deal with Rangers. I think it caught many people by surprise. Many felt that he would be heading back down south following the expiry of his original contract. But no, he is going nowhere. And I have to say, I love the tweet from Rangers, Johnny. They worded it as if he was heading for pastures new, only for the final line to say he's staying. So love that. Was great work from the Rangers media team with that one.
Derek, can I just address this point here? Alistair, on that Ryan Kent leaving, right, a little bit like Connor Goldson prior to signing this new deal, I'm kind of assuming that Ryan Kent is going to go this summer. Now, that might be totally wrong. I don't have any information on Ryan Kent's current situation. I know the club are pretty relaxed on the contracts, the players, where they stand at the moment. I'm certain there'll be interest in Ryan Kent. I was speaking to someone who worked in football this morning, talking about how perfect he is for the Bundesliga, how he performed against the Bundesliga sides. It would be remarkable to me if there wasn't interest from Germany and Ryan Kent, just on the basis of that. He's got 1 year left in his deal, Alistair. So you say to yourself, Rangers have a player trading model where they have to, as part of their business plan, move players on at the right time. Well, now is the right time for Ryan Kent. I would love to see him stay. There's no bigger fan of Ryan Kent than me. But he either has to go this summer or sign a new deal. It'd be amazing if he signed a new deal. But I suspect I suspect that the more likely alternative is that he will be involved in a fairly large transfer. I might be wrong. It's not based on inside knowledge or being in the know on this deal. It's just that common sense tells you when you're coming to 1 year left in your contract, there is going to be movement one way or the other.
Yeah. RFC 56 says Kent will be the next to sign a new contract. By all accounts, I hear that he settled in Glasgow, but I mean, money talks, and like you say, there might be clubs in the Bundesliga that might test Rangers' resolve, given his performances in the Europa League.
Yeah, the thing is about Ryan Kent is the major interest came from Leeds United under Marcelo Bielsa, and he's gone now.
Yeah,
and I think if Bielsa was still in charge at Leeds, I think they would probably be an offer coming in from them, because he made 3 offers already for Kent at various points in his career. It's clear that Bielsa really likes what Kent has to offer. Now, where the other interest may come from, we don't really know. I'm speculating on the Bundesliga because it just seems completely obvious that a player of his technical gifts and pace absolutely would fit in an environment of high transition. It's just obvious. You see it in the Europa League with every game that he plays. He is absolutely suited to that. And that's why he's got a better scoring rate in the Europa League than he does in the Scottish Premiership.
Yeah,
which tells you something.
Yeah,
because the Scottish Premiership is not that level. So it's not really about levels with Kent. It's about the style of the game. And I mean, long term, it would be absolutely great if Rangers signed a new contract with Kent. But they have to sell someone this summer. You know, but they don't have. I don't.
Billy says, Johnny, I mean, it's an interesting point. Do the club need to sell? I think just for a freshness and just
that's what I mean. That's exactly
moving on. Not in terms of the financial reasons, but just squads need a bit of freshening up. I think a lot of you hear the last dance and all that sort of stuff, and you've seen the players that have posing for a photograph of the Scottish Cup at Hampden. It looked like a sort of last day at school photograph of a number of them. Some players will have to be moved on at some point. It just remains to be seen who those players are going to be. Scott's Wilder says he thinks he can afford to lose Kamara, Aribo, and Hadji. Of course, Hadji.
I wouldn't want to see Yanis Hadji go, mate.
Ditto. Apparently Galatasaray sniffing about him, which is no surprise there, really. I think
Yanis Hadji has levels to go, and that's key for me. He's missed almost the entire season now, and Giovanni Van Bronckhorst clearly rated him because he wasn't in a good spell of form when Gio first came in, but he was one of the first names on the team sheet. He was playing every single game, and we know Hadji's got really, really top-level talent, and can definitely, if he puts all the elements of the game together, become a really, really, really important player. I think the thing about Hadji is quite often playing in that kind of right 10 role require him to be a bit more of a right winger he's naturally capable of. He's not quick. To try and get Hadji more centralised, I think would be to see you getting the absolute benefits of his quality. And I would definitely like to see Hadji sign a new deal and remain at the club for a few years and really come to find his level. And I think his level's quite high. But he's another one. He's got 2 years left. So he's another one that Rangers will be looking to sign a new deal with. There's going to be a lot of toing and froing and a lot of work for Ross Wilson to do. There's no doubt about that. But I think if you're going to be able to sign up players to a new deal, the best time to do it is probably after you've just reached a European final and won a cup, because there's going to be a lot of positivity floating around Ibrox right now and what they can achieve next season.
Yeah, we'll finish with this comment from Ross. I love this. He says, you know what, guys, it's 1:30 on a Wednesday. I'm doing a meeting, but I'm considering cracking the beers open and celebrating here. Fantastic news. That seems to be the general consensus, folks. Connor Goldson, of course, committing his future to the club, signing a new 4-year deal. It's great news. Thanks to everyone for interacting with the show as ever. So many of you on. Apologies for never got to your comment. Yes, Johnny?
I'm pretty sure we'll get into this again tomorrow morning, Derek. I mean, I don't know. I suspect this will still be a pretty big story then.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. So just a reminder, folks, you can see the ticker down below. We've still got that great offer on the website just now, just £6 for 6 months worth of content. You pay your £6, that's you sorted for half a year. Just head over to rangersreview.co.uk/subscribe. You can get all the fallout from Connor Goldson signing that new deal. Unless any other player signs a new deal, Johnny, we'll be back again tomorrow. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.